Hello, and welcome to Kuckles Plays. And welcome to another Kuckles Plays anime type game. This is Without Within, which, while I went to peruse the Steam store page, which has honestly now devolved into just giving me a whole bunch of anime type games thank you Humble Bundle for kinda ruining my Steam store search functionality, but whatever. Since I bought all of those, or since I got all those games from Humble Bundle, that's nothing but what my Steam shows me anymore. So yeah. Anyway, since I'm on this kick of playing visual novel, dating sim, anime, whatever, sit here, read this games, Without Within comes along, and it has the nice distinction of being completely free, which is cool. It has a paid DLC option of like $2 if you enjoyed the game and you want to give them a little money. We'll see how that works out, or how the story turns out. From all the reviews, it seems like it's a pretty nice story. I haven't even pressed start on this. I've only seen this screen so far. This character, who I can assume is the main character, cute enough. Anyway, so let's start the story and give stupid voices to people as we read it. Let's start Without Within. Venti, 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 Venti! The chants of my fans echoed through the door in front of me. One of my two bodyguards wrapped his hand around the doorknob. Please prepare yourself, Miss Venti. Once I open this door, we'll head straight for our limo. The guard had no reason to fret. I had long since grown used to these crowds. Still, I nodded to put him at ease. After taking a deep breath, he pushed the door open. A crowd of hundreds raised their cameras as soon as I stepped out. My guards waved their arms to shoo them away. This red carpet walk was for me to walk on, after all. I blew a kiss for these starstruck peasants. Miss Venti, please let us hurry! Oh wait, that's the bodyguard. Miss Venti, please let us hurry, my bodyguard said. Too bad for him, I strutted along like a model on a catwalk. A group of reporters managed to worm through the crowd. They now tiptoed over my guards in hopes of scouring that exclusive. Venti, how does it feel to have won another Calligrapher of the Year award? A reporter asked me. But before I could answer, a dozen people shouted and watched each other, hoping for my attention. Venti, may I get a photo with you? Can you please sign some autographs for my kids? Two are for me, of course. I can't believe I'm standing this close to Venti. My fans stamped their dirty shoes all over the red carpet. Finally, my bodyguards pulled out their pepper sprays to keep the fans in check. A young male reached in my direction despite having a spray aimed at his face. Rather admirable for a peasant. I extended a hand for this male fan to kiss. Unfortunately for him, he fainted at the sight of my perfectly polished nails. I reached my limousine at last. My bodyguard opened the door for me as I climbed in. My trailing fans snapped as many photos as they could. Miss Venti! Miss Venti! The crowd chanted as the car window pulled up. How odd they never referred to me as Miss. Oh, my graceful presence must have been too much for their sanity, these poor things. Miss Venti! Miss Venti! Dots. Oh. Well, it was fun while it lasted. At least I got to ride a limousine for a good 30 seconds. In the real life, my only registered vehicle was, well, my 10-year-old bicycle. My apartment had no space for a car anyway. Actually, this single room with cracked walls might be an insult to the word apartment. Pull up those curtains for a spectacular $1 view, featuring a sewage pipe and a wall stained with yellow. Just open the window and you can smell the sewage as well. A breathtaking experience. By the way, sorry, I need to take back the one room thing. This place is actually 2 rooms. Thank you very much. Second room happens to be a toilet. That counts, right? The toilet clogged 3 times a month, so careful when using it. Miss Finty! Miss Finty! A woman's voice echoed from outside. She was no fan, but rather my landlady. I glanced over at my clock. 6 a.m. Waiting another hour or 2 would have been nice. She probably just wanted to tell me about another rent raise. Nothing good ever come out of that woman's mouth. I would be better staying off in bed. Rise and shine, might as well. Coming! As I changed into something more appropriate, the landlady still kept knocking. I said I was coming, did I not? Maybe I should walk out naked if that's what she dug. If this were a game, we might get a sale boost too. Good morning, Miss Finty, the landlady said. I may ask what's with that hair? It looks like you just woke up. That's because I did. It's a waste... It's a waste for young ladies like you to sleep your way through youth. The landlady shook her head. She had no right to preach to me like this. I wanted to tell her, but decided against it, as doing so would give her an excuse to lecture me further. With her size, if I enraged her, she would squash me into Venti-flavored pancake. Miss Finty, our rent was due 3 days ago! Oh, well, at least there was no rent increase. Sorry, madam. My next paycheck will come after tonight's shift, so I'll pay you first thing in the morning. The landlady grunted. Alright! Just know that if it keeps up, you'll have to find somewhere else to live! She spun around to leave. Once she disappeared behind the corridor, I kicked my door shut, causing a piece of my cracked wall to fall off. I tried shoving the piece back into place. My efforts resulted in more wall fragments flaking off. Great. The landlady would make me pay for that next month once I became an accomplished calligrapher. She would beg for a chance to shine my shoe. Hey, I sounded a bit ranty before, but that was never my intention. A lot of famous people had humble beginnings. I'd follow in their footsteps, but first I need to put in the work. Transition screen. And so, I returned to the busiest street in my area, with my calligraphies spread before me. I sat on the concrete and rested my back against the fence. Car horns blared behind me, mixed with people shouting things at each other's mothers. These cars kept expelling fumes that made me choke, just the one of many things I dealt with in the name of art. Pedestrians took up almost every inch of the space in the street ahead. Surely this would be the day when somebody spotted my talent. Dots. More dots. Even more dots. As always, no one offered me anything more than a passing glance, and my will soon dwindled. To be honest, I never expected to be showered with praise by every head who passed. What was the old saying? 10% of the people you reach out who will buy your work. Yeah. 10% of people you reach out to will buy your work. I could live with that. Even just 1%. Please, anything but 0. I wanted to scream at these people. They had no idea how much sweat I poured into these calligraphies. I decided to keep these displeasures to myself. People often said impatience would be rewarded. I wonder if my patience will ever become worthwhile. Just as I thought this, a man paused and looked at my calligraphies. He had a bucket of fried chicken in his hand, and his smell made my mouth water. As the man eyed my works one by one, I felt my cheeks heating up from anticipation. At last, someone who spared more than a moment with my works. This must be my reward. The timing could hardly be more perfect. I summoned my courage to speak to the man, but he spoke first. "You're charging for these?" I managed a tiny nod. The man snorted. I would never hang these on my wall, even if you gave them to me for free. Seriously, this is the most shameless display I've ever seen. Dots. Trolls online were one thing. Confronting one in real life was a rarity. Judging from the man's scrawny arms, I bet I could overpower him with ease. Then he would just know how big of a blunder he made. That seems like a dumb idea. Folks always said ignore the trolls. I clenched my teeth and stayed put. After chuckling in my face, the man strutted off. Determined to prove him wrong, I continued to sit and wait for potential customers. Another 1,000 people walked without sparing me a look. Lingering here any longer would be a waste of time. As I packed my things, I insisted I was leaving because of my part-time job started in an hour. Deep inside, I knew the man's words had racked my confidence. Ah, my God. Sorry, my nose is like fucking with me. Anyway. Giving up on calligraphy would mean I had wasted all of this time over nothing. Yet, if I lacked the gift, persevering might make things worse. Tears welled in my eyes and I clenched my fists to hold them back. Speaking of tears, I hear a kid crying within the crowd. Looks like we had a lost child on our hands. Some pedestrians shot him glances, but none of them offered more than that. These really were horrible people. To cheer myself up, I told myself I would never want my calligraphies to be owned by people like that. I should help the kid, but that would mean being late for my job. Let's be the nice chick. Might get a reward out of it. If I judged others for abandoning a child, then did the same myself, I would be a jerk and a hypocrite. With a sigh, I walked up to the boy. There, it's okay. Did you lose Mummy? The boy was sobbing too hard to answer. I leaned in to stroke his back with one hand on his head with one hand and his head with the other. Let me know if you lost Mummy, okay? I'll help you find her. There's no need to be scared. The kid managed to nod at least, and I whispered, "Good boy," into his ear. What's your Mummy's name? Hungry. Her name is Hungry? The boy's tummy growled, and I realized what he meant. Oh, well, how about I buy you a sandwich? The kid shook his head. I want ice cream! Hey, kid, ice cream was more of a dessert, actually. I want ice cream! And so ice cream it was. One for him and none for me. The money came out of my pocket, of course. My poor, poor wallet. At least this kid could have eaten the whole thing rather than let half of it melt on his shirt. Jessie, the boy said. That's my mom's name. Jessie, Jessie, I called as I strode along the street. Now people stared at me for more than ever. Enough to make me blush, in fact. Maybe I should try shouting Jessie at random next time I sold my calligraphies. The sky turned orange as time ticked by. Yes, I knew my shift started a half hour ago. Stop reminding me. A woman squeezed through the crowd and scurried towards us. She ran past a red light, nearly getting hit by a truck in the process. Mommy! The boy shook free of my hold and rushed to his mother's embrace. After muttering apologies to her son, the woman gazed towards me. Oh, thank you so much for your help. You're wonderful, just wonderful. The torrent of praises curled my lips into a stupid grin. Anyone would have done the same. Please, if there's anything I can do in return, just let me know, the mother said. Actually, there is something I need help with. The mother nodded. Anything in my power, miss. Oh my God. Which way back to the train station? Transition. The sky got dark by the time I arrived at work. I opened the restaurant door gingerly to avoid making noise. Stealth mode switch on. They called me Ninja Vinti for a reason. Miss Vinti! The voice of my boss nearly made me jump onto the ceiling. Sorry I'm late. I want to explain, but my boss glared at me, and my tongue slurred out a bunch of syllables. My explanation was in there somewhere. Probably. Maybe. I received an earful from my boss, but at least I got to keep my job. Several colleagues shot me frowns for not being here during such a busy period. In the end, I took the blame without complaint. Well, at one point I locked myself inside a toilet and screamed into the bowl. I also might or might not have fantasized about dunking my workmates' heads into the toilet. That was for me alone to know, though. At least I earned the paycheck, and I needed to keep my landlady quiet for another month. As for the month after that, we will see when the time came. All I wanted was to pursue my art, but reality kept pressuring me towards finding a second job. On the way home, I spotted a banner for an upcoming visual novel named Princess Aria. The game had long been hyped on every forum I knew. Amazing art along with a cast of famous voice actors. The writer and composer were big names too. For Princess Aria to have an ad this big, there must be a lot of money put behind this project. The way the banner hung high gave me a sense that it was extra important. Bright lights shone on the princess's face to impress potential players. Yes, that was what I really needed. If I had a banner like that, no doubt people would line up to buy my calligraphy. I could already imagine how folks would react as I walked along the streets.
Hey, I think that was Vinty!
Wow, no way. You mean the famous calligrapher I've seen on those banners?
Yeah, she must be really good. Maybe we should ask her for an autograph.
My agent would then step in to speak on my behalf. Please line up in an orderly fashion, everyone.
How much for an autograph? Shut up and take my money!
The agent nodded in response. Autographs are available for $100, thanks. That would be $100, thanks, the GameStop owner said. Princess Aria cost twice what I had predicted. If I had bought the game, I would have too little for rent. I opened my wallet hoping I might have more cash on hand than I realized. Turns out I had less, actually. I hung my head on the storekeeper's side. He arched his brows and pressured me into buying a game. I did ride 3 trains to get here, might as well pick something. I told the shopkeeper how much money I had and he shook his head. The store owner pulled out a different game from under the table. He brushed away the dust on it so I could see the cover. The title read Sunflower War, some visual novel about the battlefield. Copyright 1997. The bottom read, no wonder it was so cheap. Art by Invert Mouse, whoever the heck that was, and the front cover would fit perfectly in a kindergarten classroom. I flipped the case to see what was highlighted on the back. The game supported up to 6040 by 480 resolution. Truly, the pinnacle of technology. The shopkeeper grimaced. He must have sensed I wanted to say no. His stare made my palms stain with sweat, and I ended up buying the game. Dealing with folks like that had always been a weakness of mine. Remind me never to visit this store again. With heavy strides, I returned to my apartment. 0 calligraphy sales, late for work, and with rent topped off by blowing cash at some game I had no interest in. What I really wanted to play was Princess Aria. Forcing myself to suffer anything else would have just upset me further. Play it. I did spend my money on Sunflower War. Might as well give it a go. The day left me pretty drained, so this relic of a game should do the job putting me to sleep. I switched on my laptop and inserted the disc, which I partly hoped would fail to load from old age. Too bad it worked just fine. No doubt a lot of people were loving Princess Aria right now. Meanwhile, here I was enjoying this 6040 by 480 godsend. No voice acting either. These illustrations look like they were done by a child. I would be better off closing my eyes and imagining my own artworks. The grass stretched up to our knees as I read along. I painted the image of the scene in my head. The plants rustled as we waded through. We paused once every few steps, fearing there might be snakes hiding among the bushes. Somehow we managed to survive the evening. The sun surged from beyond the horizon, outlining the earth with an orange glow. Slowly the blue sky emerged and vanquished the darkness that had haunted us. As the light bathed the soil, I found myself in a field of sunflowers. I had imagined this place to look far more terrifying, but anxiety had merely been playing tricks on me. I drew a deep breath to savor the morning fragrance. In the distance, birds chirped as if applauding our survival. I could see it. Not only that, but touch, hear, and smell it too. An experience crafted by my imagination. The image rivaled the strokes of any artist, and it belonged to me alone. This fulfillment inspired me to take things further. The blasts of gunfire deafened us as we drove behind the wall. A bullet whizzed past the tip of my helmet. Sam had placed on his helmet onto me with her dying breath. I would carry on her legacy. The desert heat pinched the sweat from my every pore. I desperately wanted to empty this water bottle down my throat, but no help in sight. I must conserve every drop. Joe's eyes closed. This time, never to reopen. Despite our promises to survive together, only I managed to live. How I wished I could take her place. I finished reading Sunflower War right as the clock struck 3 a.m. How so many people had missed this classic left me dumbfounded. Actually, that would be a lie, as I too had every intention of tossing this game aside. I kept demanding excitement without offering an ounce of passion in return. If I had played my part, I might be able to discover so much more. As Sunflower Wars credits rolled, I realized just how small the development group was. The team probably knew they stood no chance against bigger studios, yet they still did their best with dated technologies to deliver a vision they believed in. The happiness they felt when working on a project poured out of every line of this game. I could gaze right into their hearts. Heart, the thing I had neglected.
Mommy, Daddy!
Or, no, well, it's her.
Mom, Dad!
Vinty, what is it, darling?
Look, it's my calligraphy.
Honey, it's calligraphy. But that's great. I think you have a lot of talent.
This is so much fun. I'm going to become a calligrapher.
I had forgotten the last time I found joy in calligraphy. Every stroke these days felt like a grocery chore. All I obsessed over was how much, or rather how little, people paid attention to my efforts. My works were no longer possessed heart, and I failed to notice it. Time to do something about that. I could hardly wait to start. After all, I chose this path because I loved it. The next day, I ventured outside with a new set of calligraphies. Though I made no sales thus far, I still found myself beaming. That might explain why some people smiled back. Perhaps it was the weather, but I swore everyone felt warmer today.
Mommy, there she is, the ice cream lady!
The boy dragged his mother in my direction. It was the kid I helped out yesterday. His mother and I exchanged nods.
Honey, that lady has a name. It's rude to call her ice cream lady. What's her name then?
Oh, my, well,
sorry, what was it?
It's Vinty. The mother slapped her boy on the back.
See? Her name's Miss Vinty. Mommy, can we buy one of those doodles from the ice cream lady?
Whoopsie. Doodle must be another word for top-of-the-line calligraphy. No other explanation could restrain me from shaking the brain out of this boy. My name was nowhere inside that little brain anyway. The mother checked her wallet, her face scrunched up the way mine often did. All good, madam. I knew how it felt to be living on the edge of being homeless.
Please,
The boy nagged on. This showed why I would never have kids. The mother relented at last and bought one of my works. Guess the boy wanted to repay my kindness. I gave his hair a ruffle as thanks. After flashing his missing tooth with a grin... He wouldn't be flashing a missing tooth. Whatever. After flashing his grin with a missing tooth, he pulled his mother back into the crowd. Well, at least I scored better marks than yesterday. Another man strolled towards me. Wow, I was on a roll now. With my heart at my side, my fame and my fortune had arrived. Clean shoes, my peasants. Clean my shoes, peasants.
Hey, it's you again,
the man said. Oh, the troll from yesterday. I calmed my thoughts to avoid causing a scene. Maybe the guy had come to apologize. Even a creep like him must know how rude he's been. Yet my aura had cleansed him of all evil thoughts. Go on. Empty your wallet at my greatness.
Wow, these new scribbles are even worse than the ones you brought last time.
I am seething with silent rage. Silenter rage. Oh my god, I'm going to stab this bitch. Ha! Somehow, I had turned into an internet celebrity. Top comment, damn snap!
Wow, she went full crazy, lol. Triangle mouth at .07 Illuminati.
She'll likely be a no buy, ha 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 ha. She'll be like, why you no buy, ha ha. More like this might be a good time for me to look for a second job. Thank you for playing. And that's the end. That was a pretty nice story. If my nose wasn't fucking punching me in the face the entire time I was goddamn reading it, I might have fared better. But it's nice. I think, even though it ended with her freaking out against the dumbass asshole, the fucking asshole, who I probably could have avoided it by punching him in the face. That was a nice story. I mean, this game's friggin' free. I'll probably play it through again and try and do some other stuff, see what happens. But that's been Without Within. If you want to check it out, it's free on Steam. Go pick it up. And if you enjoy it, buy the $2 DLC extra, which it doesn't add anything to the game, but it gets you like the soundtrack and art stuff and whatever, and it's a nice, like, you made a good thing, here's some money. I'll definitely be doing it. So until next time, that's it for Kuckles Plays. Sally is sitting on her bed, looking up at me through her bangs. She looks beautiful. She's blushing lightly and her lips part for a moment like she's about to say something, but she doesn't. I sit down next to her on our bed, our shoulders touch, and I lean in close to her. I'm hoping to be able to go out with you again. Sally nods at me, her eyes half-lidded as she starts to close... What the fuck? Half-lidded? Her eyes half-lidded as she starts to close her eyes. I can feel her breath as she purses her lips. I lean in close, closing my own eyes. Just as our faces are about to touch, I feel a cold, wet tongue lick my cheek. Ah! Vegemite climbed the distracted Sally and decided that he was the one I really wanted to kiss.
Vegemite, not in front of Sally. She'll get jealous. I told you I had to keep our love a secret.
I grab Vegemite and wrestle him for a bit. Much to Sally's amusement, I can't stay mad at the little guy, even if he ruined a perfectly good scene. Finally, I stand to leave and hand the brat of a puppy back to Sally.
I really did have fun tonight. I hope we can do it.